Hey guys, in this video I'll show you how I made this scene in Blender. So let's get started. Now talking about the main water body, it's just a bevel cube and that's all. Now let's go to the shading tab and look into the shading nodes. So there is a volume scatter node and there is a volume absorption node, and I mix both of them with a mixed shader node. The volume absorption nodes mainly gave the color to the body, and we will plug this to the volume input of the material output. Now talking about the surface, it's just refraction BSDF and principal BSDF with very low roughness and a very high transmission, and I mix both of them with a mixed shader, and that's all for the shader for water. Now let's talk about how I made the waves that you are seeing here, that are going from one direction to another direction. And I added a bunch of subdivision in the top face of the cube, and after that I just assign those faces to a new vertex group, and after that I added a displacement modifier on the water body and changed the coordinate system to object. And also I changed the direction to normals. I added a texture that is inbuilt in Blender, that is the cloud texture, and you can just control all of that inside this. You can control how choppy or how smooth your wave will be, and that's all. So after that, what we can do, we can add an empty to move that texture, to animate that texture. So what we will do, like, you can add anything, you can add an object, you can add an empty, or anything you like. So we will add an empty, and remember to change the coordinate system to object, and then choose whatever object you want to control the texture. So we will just control it, and you can see we can scale, we can like move, and whatever you want to do. So I did that, and with this empty, and I just keyframed it from one location and going to another location. So yeah, that was all about this. So let's go to the boat. So the boat is very simple model. I used mirror modifier and subdivision modifier. It's basically a cube extruded and then insert and then also extruded. Just insert and extrude. You can model it very easily. So yeah, these are the seats for the board, and they are just plain extruded downwards, and then I added a bevel modifier. That's all. So yeah, and then I animated board in the x axis, going from one direction to another direction, going from one location to another location. So talking about the character, I downloaded it from Mixamo, and it is free. I think you can download it from Mixamo site. I will give the link in the description. That's all. Yeah. So talking about this guy animation, I don't know any character animation at all, and it is already rigged. So I just humbly request my friend to animate this. And yeah, I got the animation, and seriously talking, he did a great job in animating this. As we will be seeing from a top-down view, it is really nice. Now let's talk about the main abstraction, that are the water trails. So getting those trails was hard for me, at least, because I don't do stylized render pretty often. So yeah, let's just recreate it all again. We'll add a plane and just scale it like it will look like a trail, and then we'll add a bunch of loop cuts. I'll tell you all about why we are adding a bunch of loop cuts. So now let's go to shading workspace. I think Yep, we will add a shader, simple principal BSDF white, and we'll select 3 face loop each of the sides, and then we'll press Ctrl I and make a new material and assign that to that face. Now let's delete the principal BSDF and let's add a Warner texture, I think. Yep, and we'll duplicate this and convert that to a 4D, and we'll duplicate this and we'll set this to smooth F1. Now you can press Ctrl T to add these texture coordinates nodes. If you did not enable node wrangler, you cannot use it. Enable that. So what we need to do is we need to subtract both of them from each other. So we have one Warner and we have the second Warner, and we are subtracting this from each other. So like, yeah, we have this and we have this. So we are seeing these lines and they are missing in the second one. So if we subtract, we get those lines only. And yeah, we need to add distortion and all of that. We will add a value node and plug that to the scale, and a second value node and plug that to the W input of the Warner, that is the time input. We can also animate that. I'll tell you how to animate values in nodes with the help of drivers. It is simple. Just you can control the scale. Like we will have a single input for both of the scale for Warner texture, and to make it look more smooth, you will reduce the smoothness, and for me it is 0.5. I think this value works pretty well. We will add a color ramp, and we will just adjust the texture how you want. So we get almost the basics. Now you can set this as you like. You can also change the color for the water, but we will do it later. Yeah, so here you can change the look of it. Now we will add distortions in the texture, but first let's add the diffuse shader and a transparent shader, and mix it with an mesh shader, and use the color ramp output as a factor for the mesh shader. So yeah, we basically said that the black values will be transparent and the white value will be diffuse. That's what we are doing here. Now let's add some distortions. Now to add distortion, we need to distort the actual texture coordinates. So we'll add a combined XYZ and a separate XYZ, and we'll connect all of them to the combined XYZ. Now we'll add a Musgrave texture, and we'll click Ctrl T. We'll get. Now what we can do is like just add this Musgrave texture with a math node to any of the axes. Like let's see, for the y-axis. Now we are adding Musgrave texture, Musgrave noise, or you can say it like this is the before and this is the after. It is adding noise to the y-axis. Now we will decrease the details to like 0.03 or 0.04, whatever you like, and we will do same with the x-axis. So yeah, just duplicate it and just put the x-axis and here. So we basically distorted the x-axis also. So now the texture coordinates are distorted, and you will see our Warner texture is also distorted. You can scale it like how distorted you want. This is the parameter you can change it. Now we can animate this with the help of a driver. So just left click and drag down and press hash frame / and like any value like 200. So basically what it does, it will move 1 unit every 200 frame. So it will just like move 1 meter every 200 frame. Yeah, like here is 0, and it will like continuously move 1 meter every 200 frames. So it will be animated, and you can do it like everywhere, wherever you like if we can also do it in the y-axis. It will give the look that it is going forward. So yeah, just add a combined xyz, and we will just give the y-axis movement. So we will add a value node, and we will add a mass node and connect to the y-axis, and then just press hash frame / any value you want, 500 for me. Yeah, so if you go to timeline, you will see it is moving very fast. Now we can change the math node to multiply, and we can control the speed by adjusting the multiply value. So we have the speed control, we distorted the texture, and we also have speed. Now you can also do it to the time value, I think. Yeah, hashtag frame. Now you can see the time input is also animated, so you can like animate everything. You can explode it. Also you can add the multiply node here to control how much you want to animate the time value. After that, we almost get the surface detail, like the surface texture basically. So what we need to do is like those wavy lines like these. So how can we get this? So if you remember, we add a lot of loop cut. So what we will do, we'll add a displacement modifier. And just click new and go to the texture tab, and let's add the cloud. Now you can change the scale whatever you like. I'll just set it to 3, I think, maybe. So now I will change the coordinate to global, and the direction to x, because we want distortion in the x direction. So we will just click and x, and we can change the coordinates to global, so it will move on the global axis. Yeah, we get those wavy lines. I think the waves are a lot smoother. We can reduce the strength and increase the scale, I think, for the texture. Yeah, you can see that it is animating as we go. So add a cube. Now let's parent it to the cube. Like just assume that cube is the board. Now let's keyframe the cube from one direction to going to another direction. Sorry, one place to another place. You can see it's all done. So that's all. Now let's move how I model the LILYPODs. These are absolutely easy to model, and you just have to add a plane and add 3 levels of subdivision, then apply it, and then go to edit mode and turn on proportional editing. Now just select a few edges and press V to make a slit, and just rotate it as you want, and just shape it like a LILYPOD, and that's all. Now add another subdivision module, and you get the LILYPOD model. You can add any like simple BSDF and like change the color. Yeah, you can change the color, and yeah, that's all for the LILYPODs. Also, how we get those waves, like you can see here, if you are able to see this, yeah, these are wavings, floating on water. So how to get this effect? We will just need to add a shrink wrap modifier, and the target will be the main water bodies, and that's all. That will give the like feel that they are floating on the water. So yeah, that's all for the LILYPODs, I think. Now let's move how I made the ripples. And also for the ripples plane, I did the same thing. Also we can add another like displacement to like add another level of details, and that's all. And for the ripple plane, ripple effect, I did the same. I just added shrink wrap modifier and targeted the main body, so it will give the effect that it is floating. That's all. Now let's talk about how we will get this effect. We will make this from scratch, and it's all procedural because it is made in geometry nodes, and that's all. So let's just jump into it. I made a collection named Geo, and inside that there is another collection named Ring, and inside that there are all the spheres are in that collection, that ring collection. So what are we doing? First of all, let me delete all this, and yeah, you can see it, it's real time. You can interact with it, you can duplicate that, and however you want, you can customize it, all procedural. So yeah, let's see how we will do it. So first of all, what you have to do, like, just add all the sphere or LILYPOD or any object that you want to have the ripple effect in a collection, and then drag that collection in the geometry nodes that is applied to the plane. Okay, so and set that to relative always, because setting to relative, it will give you real-time feedback, but setting it to original, it will not update in real time. So yeah, that's all. And then after, add a realize to instance node. That's just tell Blender that every duplicates are actually geometry, and we can, yeah, it's efficient, just that. And after that, we will add I think, yeah, we will add a geometry proximity node. So what this geometry proximity does is it just calculate distance between two objects, like a distance between one object compared to another object, and it just give the proximity distance between those. So what we can do is just take that data from geometry nodes, and we can use it in the shader editor. So yeah, that's all. And also this is based on geometry faces, so you will need to have a lot of subdivision or a lot of vertex. So this is the plane geometry, and we'll add a store name attribute. So what it does, it just take one data and it store it in a name. Like you can type it, you can type anything, like distance, you want to store the distance, you can type a distance, or you want to store a distance, you can also type Blender or anything you want basically. But when you will need that data in the shader editor, what you need to do is add a attribute node. You can attribute node, and you have to name you have to write the name exactly what you written in the store name attribute. So yeah, it will give you the distance, proximity distance of the object. So we get this. What we will do with this now, yeah, if you not enter the name, the data will be not available. So let's understand what attributes and what store name attributes are doing. So it is taking one information from another object to another object. So this is like a container. You put an information in that, and you can like take that information from another object and give that to another object. So yeah, that's all it is doing. So let's start making those rings. I think, yeah. So we have this proximity. We'll add color ramp. So we will just decide how big you want those ripples. So this will be the mask, and add a wave texture, and this will be the ripples. So you can control it, like you can scale up, you can do a lot of stuff. The main stuff is the phase value. So what this does, it just animate those rings coming outward or going inward. So we can add that driver, #frame /-20 or -10, whatever you like. So yeah, it will automate the animation. Then afterward we will add a color ramp. You can adjust the shape however you want, and what we want is, we want this information to be on this, so we will just multiply both of them. Now how we can get those broken parts, like where there are no ripples in the water? So we will add a noise texture and then a color ramp, and after that we will multiply both of the output, and that's all. You will get the, like, where there is black, there will be no ripples. So the shader is just a diffuse and a transparent with a mix shader, and the vector will be the last output. So yeah, that is all you need to know about this ripple effect. Now you can add distortion in this, like in the previous method we did it with the Musgrave texture, and we added noise in X, Y, Z and all. You can play with everything in this node to get different results. Yeah, so this is the final result for ripples. So let's see how I made that fish animation. So I downloaded this fish model from Sketchfab, and I'll put the link in the description. And the owner is, I think, yeah, this was the model, and the owner is this. You can go to his page and download a lot of stuff that are good. Yep. So just download that, import that, and then what we need to do is, we will just animate that fish on a curve. Now there is a trick. You can add a Bezier curve and just delete all the vertices, and just click on this draw option, and you can literally draw curves. Now yeah, you can literally draw paths where the fish will be animated. So I draw both the curves and then add, and you will see in the edit mode the fish are facing upward. So what I did is just animated those fish going up in Z-axis. That's all. So now let's talk about this like swimming animation of fish. I added a displacement modifier and set that to X-axis. And why X-axis? Because if we look into the edit mode, the fish are facing upward, and we will need the displacement in the X-axis. So yeah, that's why the direction will be X-axis. Now for the texture, we will again use the clouds, the cloud texture. Wait a minute. Yeah, the cloud texture. Just click on new texture and just choose the cloud. You can control the scale. I think lowering down the scale make it more detailed, but yeah, you can eyeball it. So thanks for watching the tutorial, and I know there are lots of room for improvement, and I will improve as I progress. So if you want any other tutorial or any other video you want, just comment it down below and I'll try to make it. So yeah, see you guys later. Goodbye.